with the response in the steering, but also, yeah, pretty dang quick. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be looking at the all-new Mazda CX-50. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Tim Daly Mazda here in Southtown, Utah for giving me some time with this CX-50. I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 24 around town and then 30 on the highway, with power outputs being 187 horsepower and then 186 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go to the front end of the CX-50. So first off, I love these distinctive lines here on the hood, and then off to the side, it has this really muscular appearance because of those lines. And then notice how the grille is all blacked out. You got the Mazda logo front and center, and then you guys can see how the trim down below is also blacked out. And then notice here with the bright headlights, and you guys can see the accenting around the lights. I think it looks really cool. And then notice here with our amber light down below. And then I love the venting here off to the side. And overall, the new CX-50 just looks great. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 245, 45, 20 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then notice the design here on the wheels. You got the silver there on the top, and then you got like the black accenting right next to that. And overall, I think it looks great when you put it all together. Here's a quick look at the front suspension. And then notice with our fender flares, they are gigantic here on the CX-50. And that molding continues all along the side. Notice the mirror's been blacked out, and they do have some silver trim here at the top. And then if we take a few steps back, here's your full side view. And I think with those wheels, that actually looks really good. So here's our key fob for the CX-50. We have our lock function or unlock function, the opening for the hatch, and then obviously for the alarm. So hold that down, and this will pop right open. Now popping into the cargo area here of the CX-50, you can see it's quite spacious, and got the spare tire just underneath. I'm sure license plate cover's getting in the way. But yeah, that's one of the big benefits of the CX-50 is it just has a ton of cargo room. This is pretty similar to like the Jeep Grand Cherokee in terms of dimensions, which is, it's not as big, but it's close, which is impressive. You can lock it with that button, and then you can press that, and that'll lower the hatch right back down. Now finishing things up with the rest of the rear, first off what you guys will notice is with the taillights, really distinctive here on the CX-50. Again, another little vent piece down below. We've got our CX-50 all-wheel drive badge, Sky Active G badge, and then notice there with the exhaust tips on either side. And, well, that's the rest of the rear. Now here's a door panel in the rear. What you guys will notice is we have some nice padding all in this area, and I love the handle here on the CX-50. And this one still has the whole seat protector thing from the factory, but you can see with the stitching in the center, and yeah, these seats look amazing with the piping. All of that together just is fantastic. We'll pop in here quickly. There's legroom. We got some vents down below. We got some USBs as well, and then we have our cup holder armrest set up. Most important thing in a vehicle. You guys can see the panoramic sunroof here. Let's head to the front. Now here's our front door panel. Notice with the cross-stitch design there, I think that looks fantastic. You can see the padding down below. All of our window controls here, the mirrors do power fold in. They also have blind spot monitoring. And then here are the front seats. Notice perforated here at the top, and then you can see again with that cross-stitch design and then the piping. And these seats definitely just look fantastic. Power adjustments on the side. And then here's the pedal layout down below. And then we do have our memory seat function with this, and then the opening for the hatch, and then for your traction control, and then safety tech. And then notice again with that cross-stitch design. Let's pop in. Here's the steering wheel for the CX-50. Really nice leather trim all around, and then you can see the darker stitching around the center portion. This does come with adaptive cruise control, and then you got your volume controls, voice command controls, and then info for the center screen. We'll go over that in just a moment. Turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock, and yeah, love the look of the steering wheel. Here's the center gauge cluster. You can see you've got 3 gauges there in normal Mazda fashion. Now again, I've got the info button that I can press, and it'll scroll through some different menus. Notice it can like completely change that center screen, which is pretty fun. Now we do have some drive modes we can go through. We have an off-road mode, and notice how it makes it like brown and rugged, and then we have a normal, and then we have a sport mode, which makes it red and aggressive. And I like how there's a little animation. Here is the center infotainment screen. First off, we pop it in reverse. You guys can see the backup camera there. Resolution on it is pretty solid. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, just like other new Mazda models, this does not come with a touchscreen. It's all controlled via a dial. But what I will say is that response time with the dial is really good. It's easy enough to use, and there's shortcut buttons for a lot of the different functions. And so overall, don't really have too many complaints with it, but I understand some people might want a touchscreen, but also the screen's so far away that touchscreen would be kind of silly. We've got that cool cross-stitch design across the dash here, and then down below we do have our dual zone climate controls here with the CX-50, sorry, squeaky shoes because it's raining. And then down below we've got heated and ventilated seats here with this package, and then notice the storage space, a couple cup holders, and then here is your drive mode select. This is the shifter for that 6-speed automatic. And then that's for your parking brake, your auto hold. And then this is like your analog control center for the infotainment screen. So it's the dial and then those shortcut buttons. And then your radio control right there. And you even have a favorite button. And then we have our double center console lid set up here. Some USB ports inside of it. And then there's some more storage space in front. Pretty normal glove box. And the vent also goes across. I love, that's cool. Look at the vent there on the side. Cool design overall. And then you guys already saw earlier, panoramic sunroof here. And if you're wondering, the control for the sunroof is just right there in the center. We're not going to open it up because it's raining today, but here's a better look at that. There you go. So here's a quick look at our window sticker for this 2023 CX-50. And you can see all the standard equipment, which this is the cool thing about Mazda, is most of their stuff is standard. So our base MSRP is $36,400. Again, this has the Premium Plus package, if you guys are wondering. And after all options and everything, total MSRP $38,020. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, and got the heads-up display. Both mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. So setting off here in the CX-50, and I'm actually pretty excited for this because I have only had a chance to review the turbo CX-50, which, you know, what a problem that is. It's just that that was like all that was initially available. So now we got to see if the non-turbo version is still a good vehicle. But first off, love that 6-speed. Again, when you hear 6-speed, you usually kind of cringe a little bit because you're like, ooh, probably not going to be responsive. But this 6-speed actually does a really solid job. It's quick to shift. Now we're actually going to, oh, not off-road mode. I was going to say, we're going to pop it into sport mode. So it's going to be a little bit more responsive. Ride quality is pretty good on this. I will be driving this back-to-back with a CX-5, so I will let you guys know what I think in the CX-5 review in terms of how these both drive compared to each other. Yeah, you can tell once you keep it in lower gear, it's pretty interesting. Transmission's super responsive, actually, which is great. Still has Mazda dynamics, like the steering feels great. It's quick with the response in the steering, but also, yeah, pretty dang quick. I love how it's like red and aggressive, that's fun. And again, this still has Mazda handling dynamics, which is also great. So yeah, let's kind of sum things up here with the non-turbo CX-50 or the regular CX-50, whatever the heck you want to call it. First off, it still looks just as cool as a turbo CX-50 because CX-50 looks cool. And then from a driving perspective, it has great driving dynamics. Steering's great, handling's great. It's really fun to drive. Seat comfort's great. It's cool that it has the air-conditioned seats as well as the heated seats. So it's got a lot of features, especially considering the price point. And this is definitely a very nice upscale feeling interior. And so I'd say this is probably a good fit for most people. The turbo definitely is, you know, a little bit more exciting, right? It adds that extra layer, but this is quick enough. And so, you know, if you're not really going to be, you know, rallying this all over the place and everything, I think this is more than enough power. And it's a great powertrain. Like I said, the 6-speed it's quick. I like it. I think they did a great job on this. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the non-turbo CX-50, but I think this is a great, affordable, non-luxury, but it also feels like a luxury SUV. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this CX-50. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Tim Daly Mazda here in Southtown, Utah for giving me some time with this CX-50. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see you.